Hello and welcome to episode 120 of the Vegan Business Tribe podcast with myself, David Pannell. And Vegan Business Tribe is here to support you and to inspire you, not just to build a vegan business, but to build a successful vegan business. And you can listen along on Spotify, on Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. And you can also watch the video version on YouTube too. And thank you as always to our amazing sponsors who are Mad Promotions or Make a Difference Promotions, the Vegan Accountants, Mindful Wealth, and Matali and her team at The Vegan Publisher. And just a quick introduction from me for this episode, because we are bringing you a special episode today. And you might know for the last couple of months, we've been running our vegan Battle of the Brands competition to give one vegan-owned food brand a free place at veg-net on the 5th of June in London. And that's where the company who gets there, they're going to get a full day of pre-organised one-to-one meetings with retail buyers from the UK and Europe who are looking for new plant-based products. And we've got some amazing names there. We've got Morrison's Supermarket, we've got Suma, we've got Ocado, we've got some really great retailers there, all looking for new, exciting and undiscovered plant-based brands. And usually, places at events like this, they go for thousands of pounds, meaning that they're only really accessible to more established food brands. And many of those kind of companies, they're not actually vegan companies. They're non-vegan companies that just happen to manufacture a plant-based product. So we thought it was important that we had some vegans in the room too, and especially those vegan food brands that see their business as their form of activism, but they just need a foot in the door to get in front of retailers. So, out of the 14 companies who submitted an entry, we were able to whittle that down to the final 4 for our live final that happened last week. And we were joined by our judges, Andy Shovel, who's the co-founder of a company called This, and their signature product, This Is Not Bacon. That is in pretty much every supermarket in the UK right now. And also we were joined by Joe Hill, who is the co-founder of vegan frozen pizza brand One Planet Pizza that you can find in a number of supermarkets across the UK and Europe. And before I bring you the recording of that final, and you do want to listen to this or watch it because it's an absolutely brilliant session that we had, I just want to add that this competition, this is part of our mission at Vegan Business Tribe. We created Vegan Business Tribe to champion the vegan businesses, to create opportunities like this for the people who started a business to try and move the vegan cause forwards, not just to sell a product, but we are funded by our membership site. So no matter what your vegan business is, or if you only have an idea for one at the moment, if you want to help us to continue doing everything that we do to support vegans in business, as well as getting access to that amazing support yourself, please do head to our website at veganbusinesstribe.com and click on that join button on the homepage if you are not already a member. It is your ongoing membership that means we can create these opportunities like this, as well as all the previous campaigns that we've done to help vegan business owners. And don't worry, we'll get to the final in a moment, but this is really important because if you sign up right now to Vegan Business Tribe, at the moment, I'm also offering a free 20-minute coaching call with myself to talk about your business and see how we can support you too. And then finally, if you have a plant-based food brand yourself and you want to be at veg-net 2024 on the 5th of June in London to get in front front of those retail buyers and you didn't enter our competition for a free place, then you can also get a discount on your ticket to the event if you are a Vegan Business Tribe member. So just head to the website at veg-net.org. So that's veg-net.org and submit your details through the brand booking form. And just in the message box at the end, put that you are a Vegan Business Tribe member and you'll get access to the discount pricing for that event. Now, one thing I will add is each company that entered our Battle of the Brands competition, they submitted a 60-second video entry to get that place. And these videos, they're played to the judges as that company's introduction during this final. So if you're listening to the audio version of this podcast and you actually want to see those videos and not just hear what was said on them, then you can watch the YouTube version of this podcast or go watch the final in full in our Vegan Business Academy on the website too. Okay, so let's get started with our Battle of the Brands 2024 final, recorded live on Zoom. I'm very excited for this because this is the final of our Battle of the Brands competition where one vegan-owned food brand, and also because of all our finalists are female, it's going to be one female-owned vegan food brand as well, is going to win a free place at the veg-net event in a month's time, where you're going to get a day full of pre-booked one-to-one meetings with retail buyers who are looking for new plant-based products in the UK and Europe, along with getting to meet industry professionals who can probably help your brand and business. Now, we've just had a little bit of last-minute news that we've had an extra prize thrown into the pot by Mr. Andy Shovel. So Andy is offering two people in the room today. So that's going to be the winner and our runner-up, a 1-hour session with Andy. So that's going to be very intensive to go through your business, have a look at what you're doing and get all his experience from basically founding the fastest growing food company in the UK right now to hopefully try and help your business too. So thank you very much for Andy for throwing that in the pot. Hopefully that's going to be a lot of use to us all too. So that's what we're fighting for today, although we're all vegan, so it's not really fighting, is it? We're all friends here in the room. But we do have, we were going to have 3 brands in the final, but the 3rd and 4th place, when we judged them on our scoring system, they were absolutely tied. We just could not separate them. So instead, we're joined by 4 brands today for our final out of the original of, I think it was 14 applicants that we had in total. So absolutely fantastic that you got through to this place. Now, the difference between this competition and others where you will see businesses battle it out between each other for a prize is that each and every one of our finalist companies today were founded by vegans and are run on vegan ethics. And so to match that, we've also got a wonderful panel here of very successful vegan business people as well to act as our judges today. And I don't know if we're allowed to call each other vegan dragons, because that might actually be copyrighted by another show. But our judges today, we do have Mr. Andy Shovel, who is co-founder of this, which is the UK's fastest growing food company that just happens to be vegan. And I think you can pretty much find this in every supermarket in the UK now, as well as being, Andy is also the founder of a new vegan animal rights campaigning charity called A Bit Weird. And Andy, if you can just say hello and wave and tell us how you're excited you are to be here today so people know who you are.
Hello, very excited to be here today. So yeah, just a bit about this, I guess. We were founded 4.5, nearly 5 years ago. And in that time, we've gone from obviously 0 at the beginning to over 20 million a year revenue now as a business. And we've hopefully been pushing the boundaries of what's possible with plant-based ingredients in terms of our meat alternatives. And we've got some really exciting stuff coming next year, actually, with regards to like whole food, kind of health-focused products launching. But I've been through the journey, so hopefully I can be helpful. And I've learned lots along the way, which I can hopefully share some of with you guys. Yeah, so
absolutely
nice
brilliant. Yeah, and thank you for giving it your time to do this, Andy. It's really appreciated as well. Okay, then our second judge today is Joe Hill, who is the co-founder of frozen vegan pizza company One Planet Pizza. I know you've got some announcements that you can't quite make yet, I think, about Joe, about other retailers that we might be seeing you in before the end of the year. Is that right?
Hey everyone. Yeah, no, equally excited to be here alongside Andy, and hopefully can offer a slightly different take on things. So Mike and I started the company in 2016 out of a passion for pizza and wanting to make a positive impact on the planet through food seemed like a very good place to start with frozen pizza. So we have stumbled our way through every challenge and obstacle possible over the last 7-8 years. But we're now in a good position. We've outsourced to a contract manufacturer. We've got a better brand and pizza and position than we ever had. And yeah, we're currently listed full nationwide distribution with Asda, which has been good fun, but it's going really well. We're outperforming the big boys like Goodfellas, Dr. Oetker, Chicago Town, and yeah, Morrison's and Spar and Tesco are discussions we're having hopefully for later this year. So we're at a slightly earlier stage than Andy, but still quite sort of far into that journey with the retailers and the buyers. So we're in the thick of it at the moment, so hopefully can share and you can learn from some of that experience.
Brilliant, Joe. And also, if I can extend that, thanks to you for giving me time to do this as well. I know that you guys at One Planet are very busy at the moment, so it's wonderful to have you here too. And then finally, our third judge is, well, myself, David Pannell. So I'm founder of Vegan Business Tribe. And it says in my notes here that I am a vegan business expert and champion. So I think I'm just going to leave that to now. But you do know all about me. I also host the Vegan Business Tribe podcast. You can find that on Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your pods as well. And we're also joined by one other special guest in the room today, which is Mike Hill, who today is representing the veg-net event, who is the man behind the event that we're all hoping to win a place at. And Mike's going to have the pleasure of announcing the winner at the end. And if you just want to say a quick hello to Mike.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. No, most of the people on the call have exchanged emails with some of you. Just for those of you that don't know, veg-net's been organised through my other business. I've been involved with Joe. Well, we founded that 7 years ago, but for the last 25 years, I've been running in essence, a networking business in other sectors. And so this is our first year of bringing that business model across into plant-based and really looking forward to giving it one totally free place for it, David.
That is brilliant. So again, and thank you for being the power behind this and giving us the prize that we're all trying to get today. So that's really appreciated too. So fantastic. So the format of today's final is each brand founder has already submitted a 60-second video introduction, which is largely what we have judged you on and what's won you the place in the room today. So I'm going to be playing each of those interviews, as long as the technology allows, as that founder's pitch to the judging panel. And then each judge is going to get a maximum, and you don't have to use overtime if you don't want to judge us, but you're going to get a maximum of 5 minutes to ask questions of that founder. And I am going to be timing you. So once we get to the end of each 5-minute slot, you will hear our Vegan Business Tribe theme music. And that's the indication that your 5 minutes is up and it's time to move to the next judge's questions. And what I will say is that 5 minutes, that can pass really, really quickly. So I think this is more aimed at the brand founders, but you might want to be quite concise with your answers, unless, of course, you just want to avoid any more questions. And in that case, you can just easily filibuster for the next 5 minutes away to your heart's content. But that might not go down with the judging panel very well. Okay, so I've randomized the order in which our finalists are going to go. And first up is going to be Louisa from Wildly Tasty. And Wildly Tasty is a nutritious range of plant-based meals for families and children. And if you just give me a second, I'm hopefully going to play Louisa's video now.
Hi, I'm Louisa and I'm the founder of Wildly Tasty. We're on a mission to encourage a love of wholesome plant-based eating from a young age. That's not only great for children's health, but great for the planet too. From this kitchen table, I started the business and have created a range of 7 different products, from veg pat pasta sauces through to curries, chili, bolognese, and sell directly to customers online and also through Surrey farm shops and garden centres. I do them in the children's format and in the family format too. I've just secured a contract manufacturer who I'm starting work with from May, so really believe that I can supercharge the business and look for larger retail opportunities and also opportunities in food service. I really believe children's eating is the future, and we should be encouraging them to look at sustainable choices that are not only really tasty, but also great for their health too. Thank you for listening.
Louisa, this is going to be your moment in the sun. And I'm going to start with Joe Hill. So, Joe, you're going to get the first 5 minutes to question Louisa, if that's fine. So, Joe, over to you.
Loved it. Great video, Louisa. Really nice and concise. and it's always good to see the product in the video. Yeah, so just to kick off, sort of top level, it'd be good to get an idea of what you think the size of the opportunity is, and I think really important, if there's competition out there, how do you differ from them?
Yeah, so I do think the size of the market is large, because I'm not only going focused on children, but also families too. Currently, there is no ready meal out there focused on providing something for young children from age 1 all the way through to any age. The meals are low in salt and highly nutritious, so great for all ages. But also frozen is on the rise, looking at retailers. I mean, you know, probably being in this sector, but more retailers are getting freezers in there. This is from farm shops, I guess, all the way through to major retailers. Consumers are realizing that the benefits, less wastage, and also locking in nutrition straight away. So that area is growing. Ready meals are growing as a whole. And yeah, I think consumers are looking for more healthier options in terms of plant-based and ready meals. And if we can offer a convenient solution packed with whole foods for children and also adults feeding their families, then I feel like we're in a really good position that no one else has at the moment.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And have you got an idea of price for the meals at the moment and how that compares to non-vegan similar formats?
Yeah, I've priced the meals in line with sort of premium meals. So in terms of children's meals, they are in line with the premium handmade frozen meals. But I do it in a slightly different format to most competitors. So I do the main center of the meal, and then the meal served to children, rather than for the same price having the side, but it being a complete meal. So I feel like it's better value for money, and a bit more flexible for the customer, because children can be quite fussy. So being able to cook, you know, a certain type of pasta on the side, or rice, whatever they like, is I think a benefit. And in terms of the family meals, they are in line. So they serve 2, and they're in line with sort of your slight, like Cook, Field Goods, all the premium frozen meals that you find in farm shops and independents.
Yeah, thank you. So I can see you're currently selling farm shops, garden centres, places like that. Have you had much feedback from customers? And I'm guessing you're fairly confident on delivering on the taste and the quality by the sounds of things.
Yeah, taste is a huge thing. My background is in food development. So for me, it was ensuring the meals were as tasty as possible, but still being as healthy as possible for children. So I'm really confident. We've done lots of taste tests, and we've won several awards for flavour with children. So yeah, I'm confident from that perspective. Yeah,
that's brilliant. And the manufacturer, are they based in the UK?
Yes, yeah, Bracknell, not far away from us in Surrey. But yeah, for me, I took the decision not to start thinking about running a commercial kitchen, but looking for a contract manufacturer, so that I could ensure the quality, but scale faster, and not have to be after huge amounts of investment to run a commercial kitchen. So it made sense for me personally running the business.
And have you moved over to them yet, or is that coming up soon?
Literally in the process, like in the next 2 weeks, it all moves over. So with that, I've improved the packaging. So I've tried to do everything to like aligning at the same time. So the meals have gone from a more kind of local, handmade in pots, moving over to trays. And so the family meals alongside the smaller meals all look in line. They all there's more space on the sleeve for key information. So I've done a lot of work to make them pop out on shelf in retail.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. And have you had conversations yet with any of the bigger wholesalers or retailers?
So in terms of larger wholesale, oh, there it is.
We will never know.
That does go quick, doesn't it?
We will never know. So, I mean, Andy might want to continue that questioning. Who knows?
I hope he
Let's
does.
get to Andy Shovel next. So Andy Shovel, you've got 5 minutes to question Louisa.
Thanks, Louisa.
So quick note for you, Louisa, and everybody else. Mine will be a mixture of questions and feedback so that I can try and be useful as well, because I want to be. So you're at the stage of your kind of company's development where normally I hear founders, and I was the same as well, like say things like, oh, I really want to change that, I really want to do that, and I really want to make that design on the pack, and I just can't do it yet, because you're at the stage where like you're kind of primed for that growth and for going into retailers, but you probably don't have like huge amounts of resources in the company at the moment to make all the things happen that you want to happen. So my question is, what are those things that we haven't seen from your website or your video application that you want to make happen to supercharge the brand and the products? Or are there none, and you're really happy with everything as it is?
I wish I could say I was really happy with everything, but I'm always thinking of evolving and you know how it sits better from feedback from yourself. So yes, going through a period of change in the new packaging and being able to scale and having a longer shelf life, again, a big thing. I just wanted to mention here that I'm also looking down the food service route. So I'm trying not to have too much of a scattergun approach. However, because we are, you're still relatively new, I haven't had the big conversations with the wholesalers and the retailers yet, because I wanted to be in a position where I had the packaging, I had the product ready for them. So I have been talking to various people, but that's like that's this stage that I'm coming into. So my focus is on sort of specialty supermarkets, so Ocado, Planet Organic, Whole Foods, where I feel it would sit, increasing in independents and farm shops, but also looking down the food service route, because from feedback from people in those environments saying that we really need to improve children's meals, and how can we get these meals on cafe menus, education.
Okay. So food service is on the horizon. Just for that feedback part as well as the questions, for what it's worth. You mentioned not wanting to be scattergun, and food service business is incredibly different and will take a lot of bandwidth of a different sort. So just be careful, in my humble opinion, be careful about like overextending yourself. There's quite a big world out there in one of those two kind of areas. You might not necessarily need both from day one. I had a question for you as well. Why not chilled? Because you're just frozen, right? So why are you not looking at chilled, which is because the reason behind the question, for again the feedback part, is we found at this, we know the category pretty well, and we're in frozen as well, and we found at this that innovation sits a bit more comfortably in chilled. People are willing to take chances, they're a bit more impulsive. Frozen's where people tend to go for their really familiar stuff, and they're just looking for a bit more value perhaps in the format, or a bit more shelf life. So why chilled for your bit of brand new innovation? Why not chilled? Sorry.
Why not chilled? So several reasons. The first being the convenience, because of the end customer being families. They are generally looking for something that they can grab, and they probably haven't planned in advance. So I don't know how that differs from adults buying or couples buying for themselves, but I definitely know from speaking to others, families, it's a grab out the freezer, let's have something wholesome. The second is to reduce wastage, because my target retailer is not one of the big major multiples, and so I'd be delivering to a distributor or directly to independents. So a frozen product works much better because of the shelf life. For me, I think it would, there'd be more wastage, and therefore it wouldn't be so planet friendly.
I don't know what kind of outcome you're looking for from the business, but what kind of size you want it to be. But my advice would probably be to perhaps think a bit bigger. Think about those. They're not. It's not a dirty word, Sainsbury's, Tesco. Like, I would encourage you to think about that being the end game, because that's where the volume is, and like you could provide some really exciting innovation for parents. You could also make a big impact, actually, if you get that many more kids in all those big multiples trying plant-based food. You can make a huge impact. lasting change. And that's just my view. I don't know if I have more time, but I was going to ask a question about how plant-based, the fact that they're plant-based is actually such a fundamental part of your offering, but it's quite subtly called out on pack and on the rest of your branding. And I just wondered whether there was a way to sort of unsanctimoniously, so you're not lecturing people, like call that out a bit more prominently.
Yeah, I've tried calling it out more prominently on marketing material, and I found that I really wanted to say the end of that.
Again, we'll never know. But there you go. But fantastic question and answer session, and thank you, Andy, for giving so much value there as well. That was really great. Right, so Louisa, I'm going to do the last 5 minutes. I'm just going to restart my timer here. It's cheating a little bit because I've got the time on screen, so I know how long I've got to ask the questions. But what I want to pick up on this idea of this originally being a children's product, and I know that you've kind of developed it towards families as well. Now, from my own experience, the children's vegan market is something where there's going to be a lot of growth. There's so many, young vegans starting families at the moment and having children, and those vegans aren't going to be feeding those children animal products. But a lot of the larger companies are completely staying away from this. So how would you convince a major retailer that a vegan product for children is actually something that's going to sell and not going to give them a lot of pushback and a lot of maybe a lot of negative press as well?
Because I think that subtlety in it's plant-based and therefore it's suitable for all. And I mean, this is the point. These meals are really healthy for all children to be eating, and more children should be eating meals packed with pulses. It's surprising how few children have touched a chickpea or a lentil. So for me, it would be looking at how you position it to be appropriate for or exciting for flexitarians. And then the vegans and vegetarians would also benefit. But if I was just focused on vegan, vegetarian families, then I just don't think right now there'd be enough of a market to persuade the retailer. And it suits flexitarian, it suits them all. And the mission of the business is to get more children eating more plant-based. So we want every child eating more plant-based meals. So yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. So just going back to, I know you're moving into this co-manufacturing at the moment. What kind of levels of units are you going to be able to produce? Is this a co-manufacturer which is going to give you the opportunity to scale with them?
Yes, yeah, they're I'd say definitely on the smaller side. I wanted to keep the product handmade, so they're still done in Brett pans, still done with people and machines, not just machines. So I just wanted the care and the flavor to shine through. Having said that, that's for now, and I hope we can grow together. They've got salsa certification, but there might be a time where I need BRC, so maybe they might be looking towards that. So yeah, this is for this stage of the journey. It feels like the right move.
Okay, and also I want to just talking about the suitability for getting this product into the large retailers and things like that. What's your kind of own background as well? Because I know when you put the application in, you said that you have been head of, I think, recipe development at Mindful Chef or something like that. So is this a business where you are putting sort of your full-time hours into this, or is this still something that's kind of running from the kitchen table a little bit?
No, yeah, fully in. I have been since day one. When I looked after the recipe development at Mindful Chef, and I also earlier on in my career did a graduate role at Charlie Bigham's. So I have quite a good grounding in premium food. And basically, I thought if I'm going to do this, I'm going to jump in. It's not the sort of thing. I don't think you can do frozen meals without throwing yourself in. And I want to grow a team. I'm at capacity. I need help. I'm in the process of some fundraising as well. So yeah, definitely all in.
And in terms of growing that team, so it's just you at the moment?
It's just me. My husband helps out a little bit with sales, but also at events. But there is someone coming on a part-time basis very soon. So that's exciting.
Yeah, brilliant. And I'm actually going to steal Andy's last question there. Just let you finish off the answer. That whole idea that the plant-based aspect of this is quite hidden away. So what's the kind of rationale about that?
Well, it's just because I think saying, again, with children, saying plant-based is more, it's more acceptable. You know, that flexitarians are more likely to buy it. I could make it more prominent, and I may well do on the packaging if it doesn't show enough. But it was more like, I guess, to push the nutritious side. That's really key. And then knowing it's plant-based, it's more sustainable, and it's got, you know, whole foods in it. But yeah, I guess nutrition was sort of the lead, and for families, because I think that's what most families are looking for, that convenient, nutritious option.
Yeah, brilliant. Just in the last 10 seconds, what's the shelf life that you can offer to retailers on this?
12 months now.
Fantastic. Right, we have come up to time. So thank you so much, Louisa. And it's never easy going first. So thank you so much for putting yourself first. And that was absolutely brilliant. And thank you for our judges for coming up with some absolutely amazing questions there. So we're going to jump straight in, and it's going to be Anna next. So we're going to have Anna Gorman from Plantside, if you want to get yourself ready. And Anna, she makes absolutely fabulous, she says here, vegan Yorkshire puddings and epic toad in the hole. However, the toad in the hole is made using this sausages. So there might be a little bit of an insider sort of trading going on here. So we'll have to see how this goes. So let's play Anna's video first, and then we'll go to the judges' questions.
We've worked day and night to bring you fabulous Yorkshire puddings and epic toad in the hole. We've done our research. Bought a giant oven. Delivered by hand. Sorted out storage. And logistics. We've opened doors. And built our brand. Plantside is ready for the buyers at veg-net 2024.
Absolutely amazing. Well, you know, we've had some great quality videos sent through, but the effort that went into that, I think that maybe explains why you're in the room today, Anna. So just because you are stating that you're using this sausages, I think we have to start with Andy first. So Andy, do you want to take the first 5 minutes?
Sure. Nice to meet you, Anna. Thanks for endorsing our products by using them. Also, I echo Dave's comments. Great video. Yeah, really fun. So my first question is, what is there in the supermarkets at the moment for vegan Yorkshire puddings?
There's nothing currently in the supermarkets.
Yeah, that's what I thought. This was a funny one, because I thought that I think everybody else here is sort of going into battle against lots of competitors, which is fine, and I'm sure they'll all do really well. But like, you have a very quirky situation where you, in my opinion, have a proposition with a lot of kind of white space, if you get it right. So I'm sort of quite excited for you in that sense. Think it's a really interesting position to be in. And I guess, like, therefore I'm thinking, okay, well, if it's yours to lose in a sense, what could be improved upon? So first question is on the brand. Like, do you have ambitions to change the branding, the brand, the name, the packaging, anything? Like, what are your thoughts on brand identity?
Brand identity is super important, and you need something that quickly portrays to the consumer everything that you're about as they walk past it on the shelf. This is our second version of branding that we are super pleased with. We went to a freelance professional to help us with it. Our first lot of branding, when we did it, we were like, yay, that's amazing. And then we went to the professional and we were like, oh my goodness, that first lot that we had was so embarrassing. So currently we are really pleased with the branding and the name, but that may change as we grow, and potentially further down the line, we might need to change it.
Yeah, I think you should. I'm very excited for you, and I think you've got like an unbelievable opportunity actually. But I would say the branding doesn't make me feel anything. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think good branding and messaging to me makes me feel something, whether it's amused or it's shocked or it's anything, that doesn't make me feel so much. So I would think about that anyway. My next question is about expanding the range. It's quite clear that at the moment you're going for the niche of Yorkshire puddings and toad in the hole, but where does the brand go then? Say you nail that, say you become Britain's go-to. I would suspect that's probably, you know, a good business, but not an enormous business still, even if you nail that niche. What next for the range?
We have already got another product in development at the moment, so American breakfast pancakes, because strangely enough, there isn't another company out there that currently makes the vegan version of those either in frozen. So that's super exciting. I would like to create a whole range that basically is convenient. We get recognized for producing amazing tasting vegan food that is as good, if not better, than the Omni versions, so that people see it in the supermarket and they go, oh my God, that's plant side. We're going to have some of that. Like to include gravy as our next product, because the gravy offerings out there are incredibly poor, and that ties in with the whole Yorkshire pudding, toad in the hole.
I'd go waffles over gravy personally. I think a lot of, I think a lot of people are using anyway, it doesn't matter, I've only got 5 minutes. I would go waffles personally instead of gravy, and for what it's worth. I think that's a really good answer, by the way, and I'm excited for you.
You haven't tried my gravy yet. I'm just going to say that.
So let's talk about how you're going to supply the enormous demand that you're going to get. So what have you configured in supply chain and manufacture at the moment to set yourself up for growth?
Okay, so at the moment we make everything in-house. It took me a long time weighing up co-manufacturing or keeping in-house, but we do have certain secret elements to our recipe, and that if we went to a co-manufacturer with the best will in the world and the best NDAs and contracts, it would eventually get out. And we would like to stop that from happening. So we have a 5-year plan whereby we raise some investment, it's not quadruple, times the production facilities we have by 6. I don't know the word for that.
Is the music coming, Dave?
You've got 36 seconds, Andy.
Okay, 36 seconds. Anna, if you take anything from this, please go to a co-manufacturer. We have so much IP and technical know-how in our business. We've got a team of 20 engineers, food scientists. We get it. I know the feeling, but trust me, go to a co-manufacturer. There is nothing less agile and less suitable for the phase you're in than making things in-house. Because if you get opportunities, you want to be able to take them, and you're going to struggle. So my strong advice, being someone who's really excited by what you're doing, is go to a co-manufacturer.
Such good advice. He put it to music. That's what I'd like to say. So thank you so much for that, Andy.
Thanks, Anna.
And again, thank you so much for giving so much value in that question and answers. Right, I'm going to take the next 5 minutes, if that's okay, to start my timer here. So one thing I'm just going to throw at you now, Anna. So were you at the Food and Drink Expo yesterday at Birmingham NEC?
So I went on Monday.
Ah, right. So on Heather Mills's V-Bite stands, they were showing their new toad in the hole. So what impact will that have if somebody like Heather Mills's V-Bite starts going out there and selling a very similar kind of product?
It's not similar, because we've ordered some and tried it.
Okay, but to the minds of the consumer, if they maybe see one on the shelf and the other on the shelf, what impact's that going to have if it isn't that big, sort of blue ocean space that Andy was talking about?
So there was a competitor that started selling through Mighty Plants, the same as we do, last year. We did see a drop in sales, but they recovered after a few months, because I think it's a question of people will try them, but they will then come back to ours because they're lighter and crispier and taste delicious.
And is it because you're using the sausages too?
These sausages are certainly by far the best product on the market. We did trial lots and they worked particularly well with our batter recipe, but it is basically the batter that makes the difference, because essentially bigger brands could also approach this and use their sausages, whereas the batter is the secret for the toad and corn Yorkshire puddings.
Okay, so that's interesting. I also want to question a little bit on this kind of this sort of secondary swap out category that we're now seeing. And I do remember, talking to some of the buyers, they say, don't come to us with a sausage, don't come to us with a burger. We're looking for those real kind of niche swap outs for plant-based now. So when it comes to Yorkshire puddings, what demand is there for Yorkshire puddings, not just in the north of England, where I'm based, for instance? Is that something that's going to get people excited down in Bristol and sort of up in the Scottish Highlands and maybe over into Europe?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, basically, in England, Aunt Bessie manufactures 20 million Yorkshire puddings a week. And so if you times that by 3%, which is an estimation of how many vegans there are in the country, that's 600,000 Yorkshire puddings a week. That doesn't include other brand manufacturers or flexitarians purchasing them. So the market is quite substantial. I'd say it isn't as huge in Europe, but certainly other countries do enjoy Yorkshire puddings, Australia. America has a National Yorkshire Pudding Day. We didn't know this. We found out when we thought we were celebrating one, and it turned out to be theirs, and ours is in a different day altogether.
Oh, wow. You learn something every day doing this, don't you?
Yeah, so the market is quite broad. And then obviously if we create a whole range, that then it's not just all about Yorkshire puddings and toad and whole, although that's where we started. There will be a whole.
I will throw into that actually here in Yorkshire, and I don't know if this is throughout the country, we have giant filled Yorkshire puddings as well, where they make a Yorkshire pudding which essentially becomes a plate, and then lots of things are put inside that Yorkshire pudding. So
I have made a giant one, but at the moment they're not cost effective to manufacture on a large scale, but it is possible.
Well, maybe you can just do those as limited range for maybe for Yorkshire Day or something like that. Yeah, just for me, that would be wonderful. Can I just with a minute and a half left, can I also just push a little bit down this idea of one of the real things that a lot of buyers are looking for at the moment, especially with plant-based, is they're really looking at the health. They're really looking for low processed foods as well. So if somebody comes to you with that question on health, how are you going to tackle that?
Well, a Yorkshire pudding's it's never going to be a health product because it's cooked in oil in an oven. They're a comfort product. They create that warm glow that you have inside when you sit down with your family, enjoy sharing meals together, or with your friends when you're out in a pub. And at the moment, vegans miss out because they just don't get one and their plate looks sad. We want to make everybody happy. But we are not suggesting in any way that you eat Yorkshire puddings breakfast, lunch and dinner. They're to be enjoyed and savoured, and yeah.
And what about the whole conversation about clean labels and minimum ingredients, minimum process? How are you going to handle that question?
We have tried to make one, or we have made one that is completely clean. It resembles some of the others on the market in that it's really difficult to get a light and crispy, tasty one. They tend to be a dense, savoury cake, which I would rather have the light, crispy, delicious one less often than a dense, savoury cake regularly.
Perfect timing. There we go. Fantastic. Fantastic. Right, absolutely brilliant. So that's my questions over. So we'll now go to Joe Hill. So Joe Hill, if you want to take the next 5 minutes, over to you.
Thanks, Dave. Hi, Anna. Yeah, nice to see you. I know we met quite a few times in the past, but I'm not sure when we last spoke. So yeah, it's good to see you again.
Yeah.
And yeah, great video. I mean, it takes me back to when me and Mike were producing ourselves not too many years ago, and recognizing the work that goes into the lorries, the freezers, and it takes up a heck of a lot of your time. And for me, it was holding me back from the sales and the brand building and going after those big listings. So I know that when Andy finished, you didn't quite have time to answer the last question on the outsourcing manufacturing. And this is one that me and Mike have had to deal with. We always, similarly to you, we were very protective, and we loved the idea of building a kitchen ourselves and building up that team and growing that that way. It is apologies if you did answer in time, but is the co-man something you're open to, or is keeping it yourself something that you're totally committed to?
I am open to co-man, but it would have to be very carefully done, because there is a certain element of our production that once it gets out, we will have lots of people copying it. I know that for sure. I would like to explore the licensing route, whereby we have something in place that means we benefit from other bigger producers basically taking our recipe and manufacturing it for themselves. So that could be a way that we look to go. I just had a bit of an awful moment at the Plant-Based World Expo where we were walking around and we saw an Asian producer who had a product almost identical to Biff's wings. And I said to the guy, that looks like Biff's wings. And he just laughed and he basically went, well, yeah, it is. But obviously it's not under the Biff's branding and it's being produced by somebody else. So I basically, I want to protect the hard work that I've put in, and it has been hard work. It's been 16-hour days, 7 days a week. I don't want to have that taken away very quickly, but so long, I'm waffling now, sorry.
No, that's okay.
If we could find a way of making it happen, that, I don't know, how would I put it? This is not coming across well, is it? I want to manufacture as many as possible.
For as long as possible.
For as long as possible, basically.
Yeah, no, I get you. We've had that thought process as well. And it is very difficult and close to your heart. So I do appreciate that. And at the moment with your current site, are you Salsa or BRC or on that journey?
We are just starting Salsa now. I'm totally aware that we would have to step up to BRC if we do expand. It's doable and possible. I haven't committed either way. Obviously, we've got to raise the finance. We can produce quite a high volume from the premises that we're in at the moment. So that would certainly cover us for several months, possibly one supermarket listing. Wouldn't like to say more than that from where we are now. But then obviously, if we can grow that, we could.
Yeah, that makes sense. And in terms of your own site, are there any issues with allergens? And do the products have any disclaimers on them at all that customers need to be aware of?
We do make a gluten-free version, but it's made with gluten-free ingredients because it's made on the same site. Ideally, what I'd like to do is open a much bigger site and take all the gluten manufacturing to that one and then use the small one that we have currently for gluten-free production. Obviously, as it's a completely vegan kitchen, then most of the major allergens aren't an issue. So,
yeah, and Andy made the good point on a previous call that it's really tempting to go for a scattergun approach, and we've made that mistake going down the gluten-free vegan frozen pizza path, and it went well for a while, but then it was distracting us from the ultimate goal of selling just great tasting vegan pizzas. So is the gluten-free something you're currently doing, or how important do you think that is going forwards, or is it depending on the demand pulling you in a certain direction?
We are currently doing it, and probably between 20 to 25% of our sales are gluten-free, so it is quite a big chunk, but that's mainly because we're stocked in a lot of health food shops, I think, and independents. And obviously, if you did go into the supermarkets, I would probably see the amount of gluten-free compared to the amount of regular ones.
Brilliant, thank you.
Brilliant. And everyone taking it up to start. We're not wasting a minute today. That's what I absolutely love to see. So thank you so much for that. And thank you so much, Anna. And thank you for putting so much effort into making that video just for us as well. That was absolutely wonderful. And thank you to our judges too. If you are a UK vegan business, wouldn't it be better to have an accountant that shares your ethics? Well, vegan accountants have got over 30 years of experience, and they're a vegan founded company. And just to add, they're also our accountants at Vegan Business Tribe, because they just get us. They understand why we do what we do, and they make sure that we're doing it in the most tax efficient way possible. Keith and his team, they've been massive supporters of our mission at Vegan Business Tribe. So if you are an established UK business with a growth mindset and you want an accountant that is going to help you grow and shares your mission as well as saves you tax, then just go to veganaccountants.co.uk to find out more. If you are looking to get your business in the news or on the radio or interviewed on TV, then no one's going to get your company noticed like Karen Ridgers and her team at Mad Promotions. And Karen, she's been at the forefront of the vegan media scene for the last 20 years. And Mad Promotions, they're also our media partners at Vegan Business Tribe. So if you've read about us in plant-based news or in Veg Economist, then that's probably because Karen got that story there. So if you are an ethical company or entrepreneur that wants more media coverage, and if you're a company that is looking to make a difference, then that's literally what Mad Promotions stands for. Karen, she's worked with Veganuary, VegFest, and all the other big names. So go find out more at mad-promotions.com. Did you know that in the UK alone there is currently around £3 trillion invested in pensions? And much of that money, it's helping to fund harmful industries like tobacco, fossil fuels, gambling, and animal agriculture. So if instead you want to put your money where your heart is, then Jay Street is the founder of Mindful Wealth, our UK-based independent and vegan financial advisor here at Vegan Business Tribe. And because they are truly independent, they're not restricted to any specific investment range, so they can find the best option that works for you both financially and ethically. Although do note that the value of your investments, it can go down as well as up. But you don't need to have a lot of money invested to make a difference. If you want to talk about your financial planning, whether you're just starting your journey or you need a little guidance on how to create and maintain good habits, then book a free discovery call with Jay by heading to mindfulwealth.uk. Do you want to speak at more events? Do you want to get invited onto podcasts like this one? Well, it's far easier to do that if you can say that you have written a book. So let me tell you about the Vegan Publisher. Their founder, Mitali, she is a best-selling business author herself, and Mitali and her team, they will lead you through that entire process of becoming a published author, transforming you into the thought leader of your industry. And writing a book, it isn't just a great marketing activity to get you more clients. Trust me, being a published author, it will open up doors to opportunities that you never even knew existed. So, even if you think you don't have the time to write a book, or even if you don't know what you might write a book about, go take a look at theveganpublisher.com to find out more. Okay, right. So we're now going to move on to Jessica, if that's okay. So we'll have Jessica Goldthorpe from Saving Nemo. And Saving Nemo, they are a vegan fish and chip shop. And today they're presenting their vegan chip shop sauces. So give me a second just to share the screen again.
Hi, I'm Jess. I'm from Saving Nemo and I've been vegan for 7 years. And this is why we should win a free place. Saving Nemo does a take on vegan fish and chips. And we started this in 2021. And last year we brought out our range of sauces. What makes us different? We look after the North Sea. We participate in beach cleans and always fill a bag when we walk the dogs. I'm a North Sea scuba diver and participate in dives against debris. We raise awareness of causes like the discharge of sewage. And I'm a marine mammal medic who rescues seals and looks after them in rehab. All of our tips and some of our profits go to support these sea dogs. I want this place so bad that I'm willing to run into the North Sea for it.
I do notice that you stopped there, Jess, before you actually went into the sea, but I'm not going to hold that against you. Right, so I'm going to take the first 5 minutes, if that's okay. So I'll just reset my timer here. Start the timer. Fantastic. So first of all, Jess, again, another absolutely amazing video that you put there. One thing I haven't really seen, and I think I've mentioned this to you when I spoke to you in the past, is I haven't seen a lot of a link between the products that you're putting out and that founder's story and mission. So how comfortable are you going to be kind of leaning into that whole idea of being the marine the marine rescue and things like that? Because I think that's something that's really unique about your brand.
Yeah, I mean, I've took on a lot of your criticism on board. I've just recently paired up with another Jess Saunders from Vegan Punks. So I'm doing that at the end of the month. So that's like to really boost the social media, but that'll help with my brand awareness. And I'm also working with Eddie Stilford. He's like a legend in the food industry. And we're going to really hone in on like my brand voice, my brand message, and things like that. But I think, a few years ago, it was all just vegan fish and chips. It was great. It was fine. Everyone came out, and now I need a more clearer path. And this is my message. And for everyone in the UK, when they see me, oh yeah, no saving you, I've seen them before.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And I think sometimes with products as well, there is occasions when the product is almost secondary. It's kind of the mission that company's on, and the mission that the founders are on, which is what people are really wanting to get behind as well. So yeah, I definitely think that's something that to lean into and maybe bring up, when you're speaking to the buyers as well, that plan for laying that mission out. That leads me into the question though about this idea of vegan chip shop sauces. So is this something that people actually want? Is actually gonna ping their radar that there isn't particularly a vegan version of this yet?
Yeah, so from 21 to 22, like vegan plant-based alternatives for fish increased by 92%. So you've got all these great now seafood alternatives, like there's Marisha Frontman, she's doing Ocean-Based Futures, which is a collaboration of loads of different seafood brands across the world getting together. But there's no sauces to go with it. You have to make your own at home. And if you're very lazy like me, you don't want to cook all the time. You just want to grab a jar and have it. There is another competitor. They were called Inspired Vegan, but it's not actually a vegan business. They just have a sidearm that like pretends vegan. They're now discontinuing their products, but I think that's because they're more focusing on the other stuff rather than it's not selling.
Yeah. Okay. So have you considered doing any collaborations with other brands? That whole idea that, the vegan seafood market is something that's in growth at the moment. So are there opportunities to go to some of those brands and say, maybe we can do some recipes together or things like that?
Yeah. I'm sort of, once I get formally initiated into Ocean Futures, it's something that we're definitely looking at in some of the networking sessions to try and collaborate with some companies.
Okay, so that's interesting. So just talk about the manufacturing. So am I right in thinking that you're making this yourself at the moment?
No, I use Origin Kitchens. They're completely vegan manufacturer based in Nottingham. If we go to scale up a lot more, then I'll move to people called Source Shed, because we can do it more competitively that way.
Okay, so that's kind of all already mapped out then as their future process, which is amazing to hear as well. And I think my kind of final sort of comment / question on this is a little bit about creating that pull through. And this is something that Joe's been very good at, Andy's been very good at as well. You are touring the sort of country in your vegan chip shop van, as it were.
I mean, the van is now a camper van. Just someone's covered it, so unfortunately, I'm just in a gazebo now.
Okay. So but you are touring, events, especially around the north of England. So how are you going to be, getting people excited about this and doing kind of all the marketing and things on that when you still got that business running along the side of it?
So we tend to have like little trials, especially if it's quiet. We'll go out and see if people want to try it and what they think of it. And we're doing a few exhibitions this year as well, just to get people to try it. But everyone raves about it. That's the reason that we started bringing out the sauces, was because people are like, oh, can I have a tub to take home? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I've only got enough for today. So that's why I ended up making them, really.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And so is this full time for you at the moment? And is it just you?
I mean, I have free labour with my husband. He comes out doing the markets every weekend and festivals and things. But yeah, it's always me, just full time, also from catering.
Okay, absolutely brilliant. Well, I've got 5 seconds left, so I won't I won't ask you another question. I'll let the music come on. There we go. I was just going to finish up by saying, will you be wearing the swimsuit to the veg-net competition if you win?
I'm sure I can pack it. It's the day after I come off holiday, so I'm bringing my suitcase.
Oh, amazing! That's great. So thanks so much for that, Jeff. That's absolutely wonderful. Right, Joe, I'm going to hand over to you next, if that's okay. So Joe, if you want to take the next 5 minutes.
Thanks, Dave. Yeah, that was brilliant. Thanks, Jessica. Just looking at the website of the products as well, so I could take a closer look. I think, I really like the brand. I really like the name. Just to kick off, interestingly using, I think Nemo is clever, and I think a lot of people know the film, and Disney is obviously huge global brand. Is there any risk here that you'll get in trouble using the name Nemo at all?
No, I double checked and it's trademarked in the UK, so Nemo now.
Oh, brilliant. So you've trademarked your brand name?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Good first answer. And just out of interest, because it's a bit of a learning curve for me, but could you talk me through what of these traditional products aren't vegan and why? So the curry sauce, out of interest, and that's a bit less obvious as to why it won't be traditionally plant-based.
Yeah, so tartar sauce wise, it's obviously eggs in there. We're trying to be as allergen friendly as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So in the tartar, we only use mustard. I can't really get around that. And then curry wise, it's normally milk. M&S do one. It looks exactly the same as ours, except they just equally got the milk in there right at the end. And the reason I like the curry sauce one, because the main ingredients is apples as well. It's quite low in fat. And then the cocktail sauce one, again, it's because it's mayo based, so it's eggs again.
Okay, that's brilliant. And do you think the health benefits is an angle that you would push for if there's the demand there, if actually people want these, not because they're plant-based, but because they're lower in fat? Is that something you'd be happy to pursue? Or is it the being vegan thing that's most important to you? I'm
not vegan from a health perspective, I'm not gonna lie. But for the curry sauce, it's like our best seller. So I'd 100% definitely rely on the fact that that's low in fat. We've had like a couple of non-vegans approach us in the past, and they've looked at the sauce and kind of gone, oh, well, what's different about it? What's good about it? And I said, well, it's low in fat. The main ingredient is apples. You know, you're getting 1 to 5 a day. And then they walked off with a few bottles. So win-win.
Yeah, I think that's really important to keep working on, is finding out why people are buying or interested in these products, because sometimes it's not always what you want it to be. We've learned that over the years. So that seems like maybe the health thing is worth focusing on and doing some more market research into, obviously without compromising on taste or quality. Where do you think these products belong for you? Is it more for, and apologies if you've said this, but is it more food service or retail where you'd like to sit eventually?
I think it's a bit of both, really. I've got really bad feedback then. I think, you know, if I could partner with someone and maybe, you know, just have a small pot of tartar sauce with some, you know, Greek cuisine, fish fingers or something like that, that would be quite good. But definitely the retail service as well. I've seen so many times, you know, you get offered vegan fish and chips and you just get a pot of mayo on the side because I can't be bothered to make tartar. We actually oddly sell them to a fresh fish shop as well. So their angle is there that it's egg free.
Yeah. And the shelf life, is that what's that sitting at?
Currently 12 months. We just haven't tested for any more than that yet. Yeah.
And once the products are open, do you have to keep them in the fridge or can they sit ambient?
And they're ambient at the moment, and then once opened, it's either 4 to 8 weeks of the product.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just conscious that that seems to be something that's coming up, is whether to go just for food service or just for the supermarkets or wholesalers and not spreading yourself too thin. So I think that's worth being very conscious of as you go forwards. And is it mainly at the moment, you said you're selling them just directly to customers yourselves? Are there any other places they're being sold or anyone you're talking to?
Yeah, so we're in a lot of like local shops up here and quite a few vegan shops across the country now. Sell at markets and online. And recently had like an initial conversation with Asda. That was your Luke. He's quite interested in the curry sauce, but the guy's from Wales and I'm from up near Newcastle, so just finding the right person and getting in touch with them again.
And it seems, so I get the impression the curry sauce is the hero product at the moment.
At the moment, yeah. The reason it just came about, the curry sauce, was because we kept being asked for cater for weddings for celiac. So.
Just in time.
Yeah.
Andy, do you want to take the next 5 minutes?
Yeah. Hi, Jessica. Nice to meet you.
No.
Thanks for the great video as well. So I guess I've got a couple of repetitious questions versus the others. My first one's just on that branding question, actually, that Joe asked. Can I just double down on that and just ask who informed you that there would be a low risk profile from Disney on that if you were to grow? I know right now they wouldn't be.
When we looked at it, it said they hadn't trademarked Nemo whatsoever. There's quite a common in the UK that there's a lot of fish and chip shops that have trademarked their name with Nemo in it.
Is it? Okay. Okay, just because there's passing off, right, as well as trademark. So passing off is a different thing which you wouldn't find on the marks register. So just be careful about that, because I've run into some of these things quite a few times over the years, from both sides of the fence actually. And so just be careful, because I believe there would be a legal risk if you were to grow. It's a passing off risk. So yeah, just be really mindful of that, because I've got a high level of conviction that there would be some risk for you, based on quite a lot of experience in that weird, horrible area of IP law.
Yeah.
So anyway, we can park that, but I guess I have a question about expanding the range, because just building on Dave's question about what's the need, what's the demand, I think you're in like a relatively small niche with regards to kind of accompaniments or condiments for vegan seafood. So I'm wondering where you'd want to take the brand in the future, should you one day feel that there was not that much ceiling for you in that niche.
Yeah. I mean, obviously I've always got the catering side to fall back on, so I'm not too fast. Realistically, when I start sitting down and working out like with Eddie a bit more, we're gonna look at possibly 2 more sauce lines. Not 100% sure what we want yet. The other option is I sell online our vegan fish that we use, prawns and things like that. So that could be an opportunity there to expand our range with that.
Yeah, I had some wacky thoughts when you guys were talking earlier, and I was just thinking it's one of those areas, vegan fish, that hasn't fully been explored yet. You could argue maybe that the demand is less so than meat, because most meat eaters think they're doing a good thing by having a fish day. But nonetheless, like, I was having thoughts about what hasn't been done yet properly. So things like lobster, which is kind of cost prohibitive, even if you're not a vegan, and is obviously quite cruelly killed in a lot of instances as well. So I just wondered whether there was an opportunity, using the know-how you must have got from making all your vegan fish products, whether you could look at making a lobster, or I was also thinking there's not much in the way of canned vegan fish, bit like the canned tuna kind of products, which are a bit of a staple for a lot of families. Like, have you thought about those things, or you don't have an appetite for that sort of direction?
I do at the minute, because obviously catering takes up a lot of my time. I cater for a lot of weddings throughout the year now. But it would kind of depend on whether, I wanted to fully go into that sector completely and drop the catering side.
Yeah. So I suppose, what is your ambition with the business then? You mentioned the catering side takes up a lot of your time. Like, where do you want this to go in the future?
I mean, initially we started doing the sauces because we wanted that to kind of pay the bills. Then the catering was a bonus, obviously ups and downs, winter and things. I think realistically we would like to scale back, not do as many markets, and focus more on the sauces and the food, and sort of have a proper name out there.
Yeah, that makes sense. And are there any I'm just sorry, I had another question lined up. Do you have ambitions to go into the multiples, like the big retailers, or is that not really on your radar for the future, for the sauces, I mean?
Yeah, although it's obviously I've had this initial conversation with Asda, because I think it would fit quite well in their sort of dedicated aisles. Depends if the opportunity arises.
Yeah, it could be great for free from in a niche. Like I was saying earlier to Louisa, like I don't know what what kind of outcomes you want for the business, but I guess I'm guessing I'm nearing the end of my slot, but I would say that yeah, to my eye, it's probably got a relatively low ceiling in terms of the growth in the niche backing. Anyway, we're done. Nice to chat. Thanks.
Absolutely brilliant, and thank you for that, Jess, and thank you for our judges. I will just add though that Nemo comes from the character of Captain Nemo, which was Jules Verne back in the 1800s. So that's probably why Disney can't actually copyright that name. So because they've nicked it from somebody else. So there we go. But I think definitely it's definitely worth getting a little bit of a legal advice on that one, maybe. Right. So we are now moving to our final finalist, which is Rachel from Lick Dairy Free. And Lick, they make over 50 flavors of delicious vegan ice cream that she's written here, and they currently sell that direct to the public through their ice cream parlors, but also through some online retailers as well. So I'll just now play Rachel's introduction video, if you give me a second.
Hi, I'm Rachel, founder of Lick Dairy Free Ice Cream. We're a fully vegan company, and we currently have 2 shops, one in Holmfirth and one in Bakewell. Since starting the company in 2020, we've sold just short of £500,000 worth of our ice cream. We've been fully self-funded. All of our growth has been organic, which I think says a lot about the product. We've been approached by people who want to get our ice cream into big stores like Sainsbury's and Ocado, but they come at a substantial cost, which we just can't justify. So to be able to get a seat in front of major retail buyers and cut out the middleman would be a huge step forward for the growth of our business. We have returning customers week on week who are dairy ice cream enthusiasts but come to Lick because we have a great tasting ice cream. It's creamy, it's indulgent, and we offer loads of different flavours. We've won the Good Food Award 2 years in a row, and most of our customers don't even realise it's vegan. And I think this is where our ice cream fills a gap in the market, and I think buyers will be really excited to see it.
That's brilliant. So thank you so much, Rachel. So Andy, I'm going to put you first on this one. So if you want to take the next 5 minutes, over to you.
Sure. Nice to meet you, Rachel.
Hi.
Thanks for the video. So, yeah, so you're looking to take this into retail, correct? So I'm guessing that's common with everyone here, given the prizes to meet retailers. So, tell me about the gap that you mentioned. There's a gap that you think you could fill. What is that gap?
Yeah, so I think currently in the vegan food is really quite exploded in supermarkets. There's lots of meat products, there's lots of new cheeses, there's quite a lot of different foods available. But if you actually look at the dessert market, specifically ice cream, whilst there are some vegan ice creams out there, there is still a gap for a really good quality vegan ice cream.
Got it. Well, I would lightly, very gently challenge you and say, I think there are a few, and there are some formidable competitors in there. So I would encourage you to find a more definitive angle, both for the buyers, but also for consumers, that differentiates you a bit more than that. Because I'm sure I've no doubt, given what you've achieved, no doubt the product's great. I did have a thought, which might be useless, but I'll give it to you anyway. What there isn't at the moment is a traditional, nostalgic kind of themed brand in that space. So I saw from your website that you've got ones with sprinkles, with marshmallows, you've got the sundaes, you've got it's all quite classical, apart from the colors, which you use are super modern and interesting, but it's all quite classical, nostalgic kind of. I just wondered whether you could go for that kind of angle.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of our flavours are the traditional flavours. I think a lot of the vegan ice creams, especially a few years ago when we began, were strange flavours because it's vegan, we're going to do something different, like elderflower, and there were lots of different strange flavours. And a lot of them are coconut based or contain some of the 14 top allergens as well. But ours are sort of like your traditional flavours. We've got mint choc chip, raspberry ripple, cookies and cream. So we have gone down that angle of trying to serve just normal ice cream. It's almost like we're trying to fit in with what people want. It's a traditional tasting ice cream. They don't want something unusual, and that's what we do cater for.
Yeah, maybe the angle could be that you're actually the really indulgent one, because there isn't that at the moment on the market, really. So you could have chocolate going through it. Yeah, I would just encourage you to think a bit more about differentiation, basically. Another quick question on brand. Nobody makes that illuminated sign behind you unless they care a lot about brand. You're probably a really brandy person. And it made me think, well, it made me wonder, are you happy with the brand identity as it is? Because you're clearly passionate about it. or do you think there's room to refine the brand identity a bit more so that it's a bit more sticky and people remember it a bit more? Because you got a good name, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I like the name, and it's quite memorable. You know, people say, "Oh, we're going to Lick." Yeah, see, you know, I think it is quite a sticky name because it sort of stands out.
I mean the identity, sorry, not the name. Yeah, the name's great. I just mean everything around it for me. Let me be, because I've got such short on time, I'll be clearer. Like, I think the name's really strong, and I think the identity around it is a bit more forgettable, and I wonder if there's room to improve that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, since starting, I've sort of worked by myself, and it'd be nice to have other people sort of come and help with that. And I'm always open to sort of changing things and moving forward and making it stand out a little bit more, you know.
Yeah, and what about on the supply side? So are you set up for retailers now? Like, are you ready if Mr. or Mrs. Sainsbury's calls you? Like, are you set up to say yes?
Yeah, we supplied Suma, which is a really local. They're really local to us. So we've got all the sort of infrastructure in place to do that, because obviously we sell so much anyway through the shops. So we've already got that sort of infrastructure here. And we've been through the process with Suma and getting the pots ready and sort of retail ready.
Great. And one random thought, because I'm guessing I'm out of time. I'm getting a sense for it now. The cones which you make, which are all multicolored, I thought they were really cool, and I just wondered whether or not you could think about also trying to sell them into retailers, because I've not seen something like that in a retail environment before.
Yeah, I would like to, but it's sort of down the list of what we'd like to do first. It is on the list, but it's sort of further down the list.
I can definitely see why. Yeah, for sure. Thanks a lot.
Perfect timing, Andy. You've just as we get to the end, you've nailed it. Right, so thank you so much for that, Andy. We're going to move on to Joe next. So, Joe, do you want to take the next 5 minutes?
Thanks, Dave. Yeah, thank you, Rachel. Nice to meet you. I haven't tried your ice cream yet, so apologies, but I will change that. Yeah, well done. I mean, it sounds like you've done really well with the 2 shops to get to this point, and that's really impressive. 500,000 already. Out of interest, just to finish on the brand, so I think Lick is a brilliant name, and I'm amazed that hasn't been taken already. Is that trademark, just to double check?
No, it isn't yet. We have looked into it. I think when we started going down the Suma path and looking at getting into retail, there are some Licks about, but there's some in America, but they've got pictures with them. There's no, I think if we did trademark it, it would need to be Lick, but it'd have to have some sort of a logo with it. I don't think we could just use the word Lick.
Yeah. I mean, I think that for me would be a priority. I think that's really important, just so that you know where you stand before you make any more progress in retail with any branded products. That's really important. But yeah, there's plenty of people out there, and Dave will be well connected if you need advice on that. And Andy sounds like he's gone through a hell of a lot with the brand name This. So I would definitely consider that as a priority. Just my take. But I think it's a great name. If you can make that work, that's brilliant. And I had a look on the website. I couldn't see any of the actual branded products that you would want to take to retailers. Is that
little tubs?
Perfect. So it's going to be a standard. Is it just under 500 ml, those ice cream tubs?
Yeah, 480 ml, like a Ben and Jerry's size tub.
Yeah. I think it was really interesting listening to you talk with Andy about how you're actually, genuinely different to what else is out there. So I eat a lot of vegan ice cream with my girlfriend, and obviously Ben and Jerry's dominate, and they've got 5 or 6 vegan options, and very expensive, but people are willing to pay that much if taste is there. So I think it's really interesting to consider how you would be different in that premium high end, focusing on taste category. I really like the idea of, if you can, I've never seen an ice cream that's vegan that has sprinkles inside it. I know that Wicked do a birthday cake flavour. I haven't tried it, but I think it's just important to think about how you can be genuinely different and shake up that category a bit. I don't know if anything springs to mind flavour wise, or like I said, having something in there that's actually new.
Yeah, we do a lot of different flavors, things like Cookie Monster, something, a little bit different, things with bits of chocolates in and pieces, we do loads of different flavors already. But I think what we found when we sell with Suma is that people do just want a mint choc chip or a raspberry ripple. And I think what is different with our brand is that it's 100% vegan company. So the other ice cream brands, the consumers are actually buying back into a company that produces dairy ice cream as well.
Yeah.
So we can wholeheartedly say it's 100% vegan, and we get lots and lots of not just children but adults coming in who are not necessarily vegan but allergy sufferers with milk. So and they come because it's a really, really safe environment, because it's not produced alongside dairy ice cream, which a lot of the other brands like Jude's or Northern Block, and they are produced alongside dairy ice cream.
Yeah, that's really good to be aware of that. And what's the main ingredient for the ice cream?
It's oat milk, gluten-free oat milk.
Oat milk, yeah, because I know Ben & Jerry's have recently swapped, haven't they, from almond to oat?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know why, but that was quite an interesting move.
I think it's a creamier consistency, and the allergen thing as well. A lot of people are put off because it's it was nut based.
Are any of those others the competition for you in retail? Are they able to claim the same free from and gluten-free oats? I haven't checked.
They have the may contain, because obviously the machinery they use is probably, I'm guessing it's cleaned, but it's probably, or maybe they've got separate machinery for it, but it is produced in an environment that has got the milk and the dairy in it. So we can claim that because obviously it's a totally vegan environment.
Sure. And end goal for you, Rachel, is it to be more focusing on the retail side with those tubs that you showed me, or do you still want to keep a foot in those two shops? Where's your sort of head at, ideally, looking forwards? That'll be a one-word answer.
It's a two-pronged, well, I can't do it in one word, but it's a two-pronged approach. There are two strands to what we want to do.
I'll tell you what, because Andy and Joe nicked half of my questions there that I had prepared. I'm going to let you continue into my 5 minutes. So do you want to answer that question in my 5 minutes?
Thanks, Rachel.
Thank you. Yeah, we've got a two-pronged approach, really. So we want people to be able to see it in the street and buy it on the street, but we'd also like people be able to get that in the supermarkets at the same time. So the plan is to, we're opening up in York at the end of May as well. So we've got that third destination shop. And then the plan is to, once we've sort of proved the model works for another year or so, we're going to franchise out the shops, but at the same time, alongside that, we'd like to see it in the supermarket so that people can see the name on the street and also sort of buy it in the supermarket as well.
Right. So this is really interesting. So as I said, Joe and Andy covered quite a lot of the things I was going to ask. So I'm going to take a slightly different angle on this, because I actually live near one of your stores, Rachel, as you know, and I didn't know that you were vegan for years. I would happily drive through the village of Holmfirth, see your ice cream shop there. I had no idea that was for me. So can I just ask you a little bit on why you've chosen that angle, and do you think that's something that could possibly be detrimental to the brand?
I think that, I mean, it's proved that it works in terms of the shops are really popular. And what it's actually done is meant that we don't just have vegan customers. So I'd say the majority of our customers are just impulse buy. I'd like an ice cream. And once they're in the shop and they see the ice creams, they might look up, see the board, it's dairy free. Oh, it's dairy free. Would you like a taste? So it's kind of, it's encouraging the people to come in, because I think if, it does work, the branding of how we've sort of laid it out. And I think it's just that we want it to be for everybody. We didn't really just want to isolate it for vegans or people who suffer with allergies. We want it to be a product that is enjoyed by everybody, because it does taste amazing, and it does taste like dairy ice cream, So I think that's why.
And I will agree to that as well. I mean, it was my my children's favorite ice cream as well. So picking up on that conversation about, there are a lot of people making plant-based ice cream at the moment, and I appreciate what you're saying about they're not vegan companies as well. But to quite a lot of majority of maybe the non-vegan customers, they're not going to care too much about that. So if we're looking at putting your product in one of the supermarkets, that means they've got to drop a Northern Block or a Ben and Jerry's or one of Wall's brands or something like that. So how are we going to get them excited about this? What's that angle going to be that it's not just another Northern Block or a Halo?
Just because we don't compromise on the taste, we don't compromise on the flavour, the texture. It's a really, really good vegan ice cream. And I think the flavours that we offer are what people want to see. So we've been able to prove our product. Every day we prove we see what flavours are popular, what people are buying. So we know instantly which flavours are the most popular. So we can put those into the supermarkets, and we can be confident that people will want to buy those flavours because those are the ones we sell the most of in the shops. We get we've had the feedback. It's not like we just thought, oh, let's do an ice cream and push it out to the supermarkets. We've had the feedback. We've had thousands of people telling us they like this flavour, they don't like that flavour. So I think we'd be in a really good position to say, right, well, we're going with these flavours because we know these sell, and we know it's what people want to see. And going back to what Andy said before about maybe doing something with the branding to make it pop out a little bit more, might work, and doing some standout flavours. Because obviously we can turn the flavours around pretty quickly.
Do you think there is the opportunity to make this a location-based brand, so that maybe you would be targeting retailers within, 30 miles of one of your stores? Yeah,
absolutely. I think it would sell really well. We have lots of people selling it in the local area already. The problem we've got with Suma at the minute is that they very much sell to sort of health whole food shops, and of course it's not healthy. It's not a healthy product, although it is 50% less fat than dairy ice cream, so there is that angle to it. So we need retailers that want to retailers that are selling not just whole food.
Yeah, and just in the last 10 seconds I've got, I think I'll make that comment that yes, it's not a health food. It's not necessarily clean label, but there's a lot less ingredients in this than I've seen in other dairy ice creams as well. So yeah, I'll just add that into the end. Right, so we're up to time. Can you believe? Well, what an amazing session this has been. And thank you so much for our amazing four companies. Now we do have to end very shortly. So we've got an end scheduled at 5:30, which is only very shortly from now. So before finalists, I'm going to put you into a breakout room together. And then the judges are now going to confirm. And we're only going to take 5 minutes. So hopefully we will still finish on time. But I'll put you in the breakout room and I'll see you again in a few moments.
I do think there are some shortcomings with the execution. Proposition-wise, like, what is it? Who's it for specifically? Like, what are the selling points? It's all a bit flat for me.
If I was going to invest money, I think, frozen and chilled is a really tough category. And it's easy for big companies to come in and replicate it, perhaps. But, she needs to do more work on the branding and the look and feel.
The branding compared to the others, I think, is at a better stage, but it does seem like that's the obvious one for the biggest opportunity.
Now, I know that we're right up against time now, but that was the most heated discussion you could ever imagine. This is close. This is ridiculously close. And we made a bit of a mistake having 4 people in the room there because we were a little bit split down the middle. So, right, I'm now going to introduce Mike just to wrap us up for the last 2 minutes. So Mike, do you want to announce who the winner is and also tell us who the runner-up is to? Mike.
Yeah. I mean, it was a very, very difficult session. I know judges always say this because everyone's got, all the 4 of you have got some very strong points and some areas where, we know you can definitely improve on. We're going to give you feedback, so that you'll learn from this. Joe has also offered to join Andy in giving an hour's mentoring to all four of you. I think you're happy to do that, Joe, a session with everyone.
Yeah, we'll me and Andy just said we'll split the mics, so we'll each do 2.
So you do 2 each. Brilliant. So you can do 2 each. So you're going to get that. And the other thing I'd like to say before I announce the winner is that we were so impressed with the other finalists that veg-net is going to hopefully make you all the losers, if that's the right word, an offer that you can't refuse to come along to the event. Okay, so but I'm proud to say that, and it was a split decision, but there was a decision, and we'd like to announce that the winner of the free place for veg-net 24 is going to Wildly Tasty. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Absolutely fantastic. So thank you for that, Louisa. And as Mike said, that he is going to make a very good offer to try and get the rest of you at the session as well, because we're so impressed with what we've heard today. Louisa, I know that you have to disappear in a moment, but do you want to very quickly just give us your winner's speech?
It's me, the pressure. No, I'm very thankful for that place. It means a lot for a small growing business. I'm really excited about the event, and I have been for a while. So I can't wait to see you all there. And I think everyone did amazingly. I'm really excited about the other businesses and seeing where everyone takes them. So thank you for the opportunity.
That is absolutely brilliant.
Do we announce our runner-up as well? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to do that, Andy?
Yeah, sure. So just because everyone's got to go, I think Plant Side we think is a really exciting business with a really exciting opportunity. And I think Mike's gonna sounds like Mike's gonna reach out as well to talk about trying to get you down to the event as well in an appealing way. And just to clarify the earlier offer, like I'm really keen to offer up an hour session with you, Louise, and an hour session with you, Anna, as well. If it would be helpful, just do a bit of a audit and just a chit chat about what you're doing with the business, and if I can be helpful.
And that's brilliant.
And then Joe's gonna do the same for the other 2 ladies here.
For Jessica and Rachel as well. So that's absolutely fantastic. So thank you so much for joining us. This has been an absolutely brilliant competition. I'd love to say that we'd like to do something like this every year. So if we can get a big enough prize every year like veg-net, then that'd be wonderful to do. So thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully we'll see you soon at something else, and hopefully we'll see you all down at veg-net too. So we'll catch you later.
Thank
you.
Well
done, everyone.
Well done. Thanks for your time.
And that was brilliant. And just a reminder, if you have a plant-based food brand yourself and you want to be at veg-net 2024 on the 5th of June in London to get in front of those retail buyers yourself, then you can get a discount on your ticket if you are a Vegan Business Tribe member. Just head to the website at veg-net.org and submit your details through the brand booking form. And in the message box at the end, just put that you are a Vegan Business Tribe member to get access to the discounted pricing. But that is it. So thank you to everybody who entered the competition, and congratulations again to our 4 finalists, who were Lick Dairy-Free Ice Cream, Saving Nemo, Plant Side, and then our winner, Wildly Tasty. And do go check them out, and hopefully you'll see them in a supermarket near you soon. Also, if you want to keep helping us to continue to do stuff like this and to support vegans who are fighting for animal rights with their businesses, then please do consider signing up to our membership site at veganbusinesstribe.com, where you will get all the support you need to grow a successful vegan business. And if you sign up right now, you'll also get that free 20-minute coaching call with myself to talk about your business and see how we can support you too. So that is it for this week, and I'll see you on the next one.